main career in the past was working in TV production. So I produced Ready, Steady, Cook, Changing Rooms, Don't Get Done, Get Dom, etc., etc. And then during COVID, and then I set up a small business, still TV related. And then during COVID, I decided to retrain as a life coach because I had a life coach when I was 39 and it transformed my life. And I always thought long-term goal, at some point, I would like to do the same. So retrained in 2020 and started a life coaching business. And then in 2024, I thought I'd like to do something alongside the coaching.
Mm.
And that's when I sort of Googled, jobs in retirement or jobs when you get older. And I came across Brave Start. And that was 2024. We then decided to sell the house. So everything got put on hold for a bit. But I went to the AI session, I went to the LinkedIn session, and then ended up leaving London in 2025. And we're living on a boat, so it was a bit chaotic. But I had done, probably at some point in 2025, the self-analysis workshop with Brave Starts. And that really helped me start to define what I wanted this role to be, because I knew I wanted to do something else, but I hadn't stopped to think about what exactly it was. So through doing that, I thought, okay, I want project. I don't want a job that is once a week forever. I want a beginning and an end. Um, Ideally, something that I can come back to every year and something that worked around my coaching business. So I sort of had those parameters. And then in September 2025, I went to your workshop on Age is Your Asset, where you talked about the importance of, obviously, depending on the circumstances, I didn't need a job to pay a mortgage. I just wanted a job to to meet people, to get involved, and to have another bow to my arrow. Um, and so I thought, okay, no ego. I just need a job where I can help out. I've got lots of skills. I'm 61. I've done a lot of things. I can run TV production companies, but I can also make sandwiches. I can file. I can answer phones. I can do whatever, I can just be someone's wing woman. And I thought, well, Henley has the Henley Royal Regatta and it's every year and it's in the summer and they have a YouTube channel. So I thought, well, maybe that will tick all the boxes. So let me see how I can get into that sort of into that world. Um, Lots of Google research found out that the production company was called Sunset and Vine. They didn't have an info at email address. So I thought, okay, I've got to keep looking. Managed to find out, I can't remember how, that the exec producer was someone called Andrew Priest. I checked all my LinkedIn connections. There was no third connection to it. I thought, okay, fine. How am I going to get a hold of Andrew Priest? And then I thought, right, Brave Starts has a membership directory. Let's see if anyone on the membership works in TV production or has worked in TV production. So I think I put in the words TV plus and also TV production and came up with a list of probably about 15 people.
Yeah.
Some of the production was commercial, so I discounted those, but I had my notebook, I did all my names and all their email addresses. And then I sent everyone an email saying, I'm contacting you because I think there's a little Brave Starts meet. Anyway, the subject matter says it's from a member. And I said, this is who I am, this is what I've done, and this is what I'm trying to do in Henley. And I'm looking for the email address of Andrew Priest. If you know him or know anyone who knows him or knows anything about Sunset and Vine, let me know. And in fairness, hats off to all the Brave Start members I contacted because they all got back to me. Some said, sorry, our paths haven't crossed, but good luck. Others said, don't know, but maybe this is another route in. And then someone called Ashley Smith emailed me back and said, I've never worked with him, but this is his email address, which was just amazing. And obviously I thanked Ashley and I let her know that, it then all worked out because I then contacted Andrew Priest. They were up for their contract was being recommissioned and they didn't get it. And he then said, and I emailed him again, based on what you said, at your age is your asset. And I said, I haven't worked in production for a while, but I've attached my CV. You can see that I've got a lot of years of TV production. And I'm just looking for something that I can be a help. And I don't want to the top job. I can work as an assistant. I can bring the bacon sarnies. I can do whatever it is. I would just like to be part of the team because I miss the comradeship. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Camaraderie,
Camaraderie.
the camaraderie of being part of a TV production team. So anyway, so he then said, well, contact Claire Rimmer, who's the in-house producer at the Henley Royal Regatta. So I waited. So this was probably about November time when we finally got in touch, and he said, no, we've now heard, and we didn't get the commission. And I thought, well, now it's Christmas and New Year, I'm not going to bother. I'll contact her in February time. No, in fact, it was February because we were moving into the house, and I thought, let's be settled. So I contacted her, same kind of thing. Here's my CV. I've worked in TV for a long time, but I just like to be part of something special. Henley Regatta is unique. I can be your wing woman. I can just help wherever you want me to help. Don't want the top job. Haven't worked in production for a while, but I can help. And so we met up for a coffee, and she didn't have a job. But she knew that she might need some help because they weren't going to employ a production company. She was going to bring it all in-house. And long story short, I then got an email, I don't know, 4 weeks later saying, I've managed to get the committee to agree to me having an assistant. So I am going to be her broadcast assistant. And it's a week's work, and it starts on a Monday at 6:45, and the working hours are 6:45 to 5:30, Monday to the Sunday, because the regatta is 1 week. And that's it. And then if everyone's happy, hopefully I'll go back next
Year
year.
on year. So
And
something to
it
do.
just ticks all the boxes. And it was because of the lovely Ashley Smith who emailed me with Andrew Priest's email address, because I looked everywhere. I could not get a contact for him. And it was through the Brave Starts membership directory that I reached out,
Yeah.
and it
And
worked.
we always say, there's something really special about the power of a community. And I think when so many people get, no responses from random strangers on LinkedIn, having something that people can recognize the name of and think, yeah, we've got each other's back, we've got to sort each other out is,
Yeah.
well, as you say, it's valuable. I think the piece I like most about your story is the part about what you've effectively done is you've pitched for and you've created your own job.
Yeah.
It didn't exist. This wasn't something that was advertised. It's something that you spent some time crafting in your head. You knew you wanted a project, so you were clear on your goal. The clarity of your goal then meant that all of your action was driving in a direction that helped to de-risk things for people. So any time that there may have been a hint of a job, rather than take this out to an unknown, here's someone who's
Yeah.
being proactive, that's already contacted us, who's already shown that she's not interested in, top job, irrational expectations. You're quite happy to pick up the pieces, to do whatever is needed to be done, to do that role for that particular week. And you've already demonstrated that through your proactivity. So where something isn't in existence, you've kind of made it happen. What a wonderful story, Claire. Thank you ever so much for coming back and telling us how your experience has turned out.